Okay, this is Montrose Morris's Alhambra apartment building at 500 Nostrand Avenue at Halsey Street, just south of Fulton Street, or just north of Fulton Street. And this building in particular, according to architectural historians and critics, really puts Montrose Morris up in the top 2 of Brooklyn architects. It was built in the late 1880s, before his other apartment buildings. And we'll take a look at it from across the street, where we can get a better picture of all the details. Some other significant building here on the other side of the street undergoing a renovation. Let's walk down here. So we can see, I'll get away from this truck, that this apartment building extends the full block between Macon Street and Halsey Street. And it looks like it's thin, because you can see right through it here in the middle. And we'll take a further look at it without the glare of the sun. But this is like the holy grail of the Brooklyn School architecture. It's just packed with details and recessed parts and then protruding parts. Let's go down to the corner here. Now the retail stores, they feel don't serve the building well, but the economy is maybe not as good as it once was in Bedford-Stuyvesant. Wow. Look at that building looking across. Go across here as the light changes on Nostrand Avenue. You really get a good picture of it here in the sun. A lot of detail in this building. All the way around. Montrose Morris, 1889 to 1890. The Alhambra Apartments in Bed-Stuy on Nostrand Avenue. Let's take another look with a different camera. Montrose Morris's Alhambra apartment building, 1889 to 1890. We get some of the details right here on the corner of Nostrand and Macon Street. This is the Renaissance Apartments by Montrose Morris at the corner of Hancock on Nostrand Avenue. (480-82) Nostrand Avenue in the southwest corner. Described as Loire Valley Chateau, 1892. is Imperial Apartments. And this area is just packed with fantastic apartment buildings and townhomes, brownstones, everything on Hancock Street. Hancock Street is one of the premier streets of Brooklyn and of Bed-Stuy. Let's take another look at Montrose Morris's Renaissance Apartments here in Bed-Stuy on Nostrand Avenue at Hancock Street. In the morning light on an early February weekday. At 482-480 Nostrand Avenue in Bed-Stuy. Let's take a look at Montrose Morris's Imperial Apartments here in Crown Heights. Looking at it from the Bedford Avenue side, the western facade. And then we'll walk around to the front on Pacific Street, 1198 Pacific Street. It's built in 1892. So this was built the same year as the Renaissance Apartments on Nostrand Avenue. So that was a busy year. 1892 was a busy year for Montrose Morris. And it has ionic columns at the main entrance. It's nice that they have a nice newer wood door. This is the Bedford-Shire apartment building designed by Montrose Morris, and the developer was Louis Seitz, as was the case here for the Imperial Apartments. And the Bedford-Shire was built in 1891, and then the Imperial Apartments were built the next year. This is at 1200 Dean Street in Crown Heights. Here's another Montrose Morris building on South Oxford Street in Fort Greene, 69 South Oxford. It's now called the Roanoke Condo Building, and it was originally the Carlos Hotel, and I don't know when it happened, but it was gutted by fire and then renovated, brought back. So go and take a look from across the street. Another beautiful brownstone street in Fort Greene. That's Fort Greene Park down in the end. It's a great entrance to this building. You can really tell a Montrose Morris building, the Romanesque revival, and it's just a powerhouse design. This is built in 1893. Some of the ornamentation here kind of reminds me of Louis Sullivan, who designed buildings in the Chicago School from that era. This fantastic building at Decatur and Throop Avenue in Bed-Stuy. And it's right next to an apartment house. Check out this brickwork here. And some of these houses here. It's right next to this little apartment building, the Claremont. Look down east, down Decatur Street. The Claremont, 1981 Decatur, designed by Montrose Morris. I don't have a year on this, but I'm guessing in the 1890s. Here at 515 Clinton Avenue in Clinton Hill, just south of Fulton Street, between Fulton and Atlantic. This is a Montrose Morris apartment house, the Black Towers, 1893-94. And Suzanne Spellin would like these black towers to be painted white so it'd be less depressing. And it's a near replica of his apartment building in Bedford-Stuyvesant on Decatur Street called the Claremont, which is just east of Throop Avenue. So 1893-94, it could use a little brightening up, although the apartments inside originally were quite spacious, and it's a nice building overall. And it's right next to this modern new building that was built in the last 5 years or so, and across the street from St. Luke's and St. Michael's Church, or St. Mark's. There's two saints, one of them is Luke. It's being rehabbed, and then there's this high-rise going up right on Atlantic and Vanderbilt, which is part of the same project. So 515 Clinton Avenue, Montrose Morris, 1893-94.